Hello. Welcome to Part 8B of the Provider Flex Enrollment Tool Series. This video will cover the Other Information for Groups section of the Enrollment Tool for Nevada Medicaid providers. First, this video covers expectations regarding the Other Information section of an enrollment application. Then, it discusses an example of adding a supervisor's information. Lastly, it discusses an example of adding a facility's information. Before getting into the demonstrations, let's set some expectations. The Other Information section fields depend on three main entries: enrollment type, provider type, and specialties. So, this video will not demonstrate the required fields for your specific group. You can, however, expect this video to cover common elements you may encounter. This section provides a step-by-step guide for entering common elements for a group's other information, including provider directory and supervision. The Other Information section is located just below the Ownership and Disclosure section. A common element of this section is your provider directory information. For this example, we start by entering the days and hours of operation. Continue filling in all required information. Required information is indicated by a red asterisk before a field name. If your provider type requires you to disclose supervision, move to the Supervisor Disclosure section and select the plus click to add Supervisor's link. A supervisor window will pop up so you can enter the supervisor's information. Start by selecting the NPI entry box. Once you have entered the supervisor's NPI, select the search button to locate the supervisor's record. The system will validate whether or not the NPI is actively enrolled as a provider type and specialty that is allowed to supervise the enrolling group. If there are no records found, confirm the NPI you entered. If no record is still found, the provider is not actively enrolled in the Nevada Medicaid program and must complete enrollment before the group can proceed. Select the Type Supervisor Lookup button. Select the clinical choice to indicate the type of supervisor. Some provider types may also have a choice for a direct type, which would also display as a choice here when applicable. Select the location, which in this case is the provider's address, entered when they enrolled for their NPI. For this example, there is only one location. You will notice that the system also enters the supervisor's first, middle initial, and last name. You may correct the spelling by editing these name fields if the spelling is incorrect. Continue entering the rest of the required information. The remaining required fields are red in color with a leading red asterisk. After entering the phone number and extension, you are asked to enter a begin date. The begin date indicates when the supervisor started their role as the clinical supervisor. Select the begin date drop-down button. Please select the date from the calendar or enter it using the month, day, and year format. This date cannot be in the future, and the dates of this enrollment application must be covered. You can select the primary supervisor checkbox just below the date when it applies. If there are multiple supervisors, check the box to indicate which is the primary supervisor. Now select the Add button to save this information to the application. Now you can see the clinical supervisor's information is added to the application. Let's continue by adding their credentials or license as a supporting document. Select the Upload or View Files button to begin. This will present a Supervisor Credentials upload window. Select the Select Files button to start the upload process. Now, you can choose the file to upload from your computer's drive. Or you can drag and drop a file from your computer into the Select a File area. Once you have selected your document, the file name field will display with the name of the document. If the file name does not display the correct name, please check to ensure you selected the correct file. If not, you may upload a new file to replace it. Please note the attachments must be in a PDF format and no more than 15 megabytes in size or it will not upload. If you attempt to upload another file format, the file name field will not display any text and you need to check you have the correct file format before attempting to upload again. Next, select the appropriate file type. For this example, we will select the clinical supervisor's professional license type. Next, select the Upload button. The uploaded file will be displayed below in the Files of this type currently uploaded section. If you make a mistake and upload the wrong file, you can use the Remove link to remove the incorrect file and upload the correct document. Now, select the Done button to finish and close the window. This concludes this section of the video. The following section discusses common elements for facilities. In this section, you'll be shown step-by-step instructions on entering common elements of other information for a facility. Now, let's look at a couple of common elements for facilities. This example of a facility entering its information begins by selecting the facility rating dropdown. For this example, we are choosing profit to indicate A for profit facility. Continue entering the number of beds in the number of beds section. Entries can be made by using the up and down arrows or by entering a number into the text entry box for all 5 bed types, which are required fields. An entry of 0 is acceptable for bed types unavailable in your facility. This example begins by selecting the swing bed type. Continue entering the number for each bed type for your facility until this section is complete. We will enter 2 for the swing bed type entry for this example. Then, continue adding bed type amounts until completed. Now, let's continue by entering the medical director information using their NPI to search for their record. This element works just like the supervisor section. You can edit a misspelled first or last name once the NPI search fills in those fields. Now that you have viewed this demonstration of typical elements of the other information section, you can use it as an example for completing the other information section of your Flex Provider enrollment. This concludes Part 8B of the Provider Flex Enrollment Tool video series. Should you require further assistance, please contact Gainwell Technologies, the fiscal agent for Nevada Medicaid, by phone or email. The contact center may be reached at 1-877-638-3472. Emailing Nevada Provider Training at gainwelltechnologies.com will connect you with the field service team. Please include your NPI and other pertinent information to be routed to the appropriate representative. Further information related to Nevada Medicaid can be found on the website at medicaid.nv.gov. For information specific to enrollment, please visit the enrollment subpage of the Nevada Medicaid website. Direct links can be found in the description of this video. This video was produced by Gainwell Technologies on behalf of Nevada Medicaid. Thank you for watching.